Well, hello there, my darling Scorpio. This will be your reading for August. Hope last month was an evolutionary time for you. It's been really interesting. So, over the few days that I record these readings, there's also a lot that happens in my sphere. And, by the time I get down through to Pisces, there's actually quite a lot of common themes and important discussions that come through. So, and that really plays out in my environment and the people around me and the conversations I have with my clients and my friends and my coaches. And it's a really beautiful and interesting time. So I thank you for that. It's really beautiful to be of service. It's a give and a take, I believe, or a give and receive, I should say. So even though I'm giving the readings for free, I get so much from it. So I really appreciate that. So, Scorpio, let's see what's coming up for you in August. We're going to do an all shadow reading. So, 4 cards with the Stalk Your Shadow Oracle deck. All shadow, I think you can handle it. Scorpio, you love it. And I'm going to explain the spread as I go. So, if you do have the deck or another Oracle deck at home, follow along. Maybe write a picture or write down the different positions and use the spread for your own medicine and divination. And I'll explain as I go the reason why we're doing this spread. At the top is going to be an anchor card. So at the Ankara Academy, we talk a lot about what training program we're in. Usually your guides facilitate chapters of learning that we call training programs, just so that we learn how to surrender into it, to understand that it's a process, that we're going to get tests and challenges along the way. And also, maybe most important is it's not going to last forever. So it might be, a training program in accepting your loved ones, or providing more honesty in your relationships, or learning how to manage your stress. Whatever the training program is, it's good to, and when you work with your guides like we facilitate, it can be very structured. So what training program am I in? How long is it going to last? What do I need to do? What resources do I need to get through it? And how will you signal to me when it's over? We're going to put you in a bit of a mini situation here. So for August, we're going to put you into a training program that you can consent to, surrender into, or rather than resist and reject, and go through 3 different learnings or layers of learning according to that training program. And usually after a training program, even if it's sport, spiritual, career, you come out knowing a lot. You integrate the information, you come out of the stress and the structure of it, and you can really embody those learnings. So that's really important too. Okay, Scorpio. So your anchor card is the peacock. This really talks about using your intuition and your psychic abilities for the right thing. Right and wrong is a paradigm that we are still evolving through. So are you using it with intentions to better your life, to facilitate higher needs, to serve the community, or are you using it to alleviate your ego, cause harm on someone else? Peacock really shows up when I know someone might be using their abilities on a low vibrational plane. So they might be spell casting, cursing, they might be trying to figure out lotto numbers or something of this realm, which can also set up some difficult energetics to deal with. So if there's a cause and effect for all energy in the universe, because the universe always wants to balance itself, right? We are here to embody the balance of yin and yang and how that's reflected in our outer world. We're not meant to get there or understand fully the experience of balance. It's really like the dance of it. So even with psychic abilities, we want to use them of the highest intention that we have at the level of consciousness that we know about, so that what's returned back to us is a dividend of even better. So if we use our psychic abilities to facilitate more unconditional love, to serve the highest version of the people that we're trying to serve, to establish more learning and growth, to take us more to of a love frequency, then that will be paid back to us as a ripple effect, sort of like you invest in love, you get love back. If we're using it from a place of fear, if we are retaliating, if we are using it with a fear-based mechanism, I believe we will get fear returned. So probably what I see the most is psychic attack. People believe that they're being psychically attacked by another spiritual person and they retaliate, sort of along the lines of you need to give what you get or meet people where they're at or something like this. I challenge that. I say if you believe that psychic attack is happening and you can feel that in your fields or in your body, take a step back and understand what part of my reality and my consciousness has invited this experience. Why have my guides let this in? Because it's your guide's job to protect you, unless they want to take you through a training program that serves your highest needs. So psychic attack can be difficult and uncomfortable, but it is also an invitation. I teach my students, do not retaliate. Do not work with the situation as a give and take. Sit in the reality and ask yourself, what kind of training program am I in? And how would I like to respond to an energy that's uncomfortable for me, knowing I can sit in my power and my belief systems around serving the highest good of myself and of everybody else on earth. This is why I gravitate towards the framework of shamanism rather than some of the other magical arts, because more often than not, shamans tend to take an approach of, well, I'm in my power and I have these beautiful guides that serve me, and I'm doing my best to lean on their gifts, their abilities, and saying, if psychic attack is happening, I trust that my guides are facilitating something for me. It's actually not about that person personally. It's about, why would they let that in? What can I learn from it? And how can I transmute the parts of myself that need this attack in order to learn and grow from? So another things I tell my students is, when you're learning about clearing entities and working with demons and all these other skills that we might or might not use, your guides then will allow that training to happen. And look, training only happens when you deal and work with those attachments, right? So they sort of let them in for a little while so that you can work with them. They get stronger so that you realize your strength. You know, a small or one or two entity attachments provides like, okay, I can work with my tools here. But then when they get bigger, more intelligent, more capacity, we have to then rise to the occasion and use our skills, right? Use our guides, use everything that we have, but still holding ourselves in a framework of, we still want unconditional love and the highest needs for all beings. So if something is meddling and interfering, they're not bad, so to speak. They are just feeding on something from a level of consciousness. So we always ask for it to be released and be sorted by a higher frequency, right? It's just within our power to say, what you're doing is not serving this individual. Therefore, I send you somewhere else to be worked in a higher consciousness, right? So when Peacock shows up, we're really being asked to look at, well, why are we going to develop these skills? How are we going to use our psychic abilities? Are we using it just to impress people? Are we using it to seek some inner gratification or sense of power? Or are we serving our highest needs and the highest needs of other people? So sometimes when people come in with a lot of attachments and a lot of negative energy, I think it's important to work with why they are attracting those energies and what environments have they been in, what programs are they running. It's not just about clearing them off. It's actually about saying like, well, where have they come from? What are they attaching to? What part of you is entertaining them or enabling them? And where are you picking them up? Because if and when I do clear your fields, are there structures and understandings in place so that you know not to go back into the same situation? So if a very sensitive, beautiful person is picking them up from a work environment, it's not as easy as saying, well, quit your job. That's not what I'm saying. It's more like, okay, so what part of you is providing this energetic change in your work environment? So why are the entities jumping to you? What is it in you that they see? And do you have the skills to do that clearing yourself? Going into that environment means more protection, more grounding, more nervous system regulation, more nutrients in your body. You need to go in there strong with your guides, with protection, knowing that it's a likely place where you're going to have to take out the psychic garbage, so to speak. So working with people from an empowered place that says, well, are you going in there tired and powerless and not feeling good about it, and then you leave with all of this junk from other people or from the land or from the building or whatever, and then upgrading that person's skills. So if they are the most spiritual, sensitive, psychic person in the area, it's also likely the entities are going to go to them because they are a prettier prize, but also that they are the one doing the work. So, and this happens a lot, it's like those that are naturally gifted, even as children, are the ones that see the spirits, and the spirits are really going to them for help. Like, you're the only one in the area that will see me, so I need help. But what that looks like from our parameter is like something in the spiritual realm that's like being really scary, but all they're usually wanting is clearing, assistance, help, and serving the higher needs, even in the spiritual realm. And I think that takes structured learning, boundaries, support systems for those people that are clearing out the energies, and usually unconsciously without knowing about it. So it can happen a lot. Empaths pretty much transmute darkness into light through their bodies, no matter where they are, no matter what's going on. And if they aren't conscious to, I can give consent to this, I can dial it up, dial it down, ask my guides to protect me, I can be on shift or off shift for that capacity. And what happens with a lot of empaths, unfortunately, is they get drawn to dark areas. They get drawn to lands, houses, people, places that have had trauma and difficulty, and they're just on the land crying and feeling. And so having some control over that is really important. Quite a big reading coming through for Scorpio. So I hope that makes sense. Please ask questions if you feel like that's happening to you and you don't really have a framework for it. So in the 3D, the bear comes through. In the 3D, you must realize that your power comes from knowing when the seasons are and knowing when they change. So those that are very empathetic, very powerful, very sensitive, usually very psychic, realize that you have an on switch and an off switch. That bear is so powerful that it needs to hibernate for half of the year. Half. So those I know with a bear birth totem, they really have on and off. They have a powerful phase when they're like into everything, they're social, they're with it, and then they have an off phase. To other people, it looks like depression, melancholy, whatever, but sometimes it's them recharging. And if you interrupt them while they're recharging, they get very angry. If you take a bear out of hibernation, I think you're going to be at risk of a very unsettling bear. So I'd like you to sit, write down, identify in August, what season are you in? You could be in a personal summer that is power season, opportunities, doors open, feeling good, lots of energy. Personal winter would be deep hibernation, not feeling good, energy systems offline. And we also have like an autumn and spring idea. So I feel like I'm going into a big phase or an upgrade, or I feel like I'm needing to integrate and coming down off that phase. So in 3D, recognize where your body's at, please. Middle card is 4D, the pivot point, the dream space. So we have the goat. Again, interesting. The goat really asks you to understand what energetic changes are happening. So look at the calendar, the seasons, the witchy seasons, the pagan seasons, whatever you want. Even in Chinese medicine, we have specific seasons relating to different organs and different eating patterns. So realize what season you're in. Realize that these energy systems change, and we don't have to be overly productive and on point and go, go, go all year round. That's more like a robot or something. That's where a lot of burnout comes from, because we don't actually gravitate towards the seasons. Some people don't rest in winter. Some people don't go out in summer. Some people don't move through spring by delighting in the colors and the flowers and the bees and the energy. It's like, we can have those systems within us. Both of these cards are telling me that organize your energy systems first based on what season you're in. Get some help with your guides with that. Your ego will tell you that you just have to keep on going, or that we're not good enough, blah, blah, blah. So don't let your mind decide, let your intuition and your heart decide here. I think what is happening is you're putting expectation on yourself to be in a certain season that you're not, right? If you are a new parent, an entrepreneur, a part of a startup, an emerging artist, you're going to be in a very taxing, exhausting, rewarding time that's not going to last forever. So what energy systems do we need to be online? How are we going to honor that? Not putting expectations on yourself that aren't realistic, I guess. Using your psychic gifts in the right way, not in the wrong way. So sometimes my students can get into a bit of a survival mechanism with their guides, you know, like just asking them a lot of small things and being very anxious about, are you still there? Are you still with me? Am I doing okay? Sometimes it's really like understanding that there's 3D lessons, 4D lessons, and 5D lessons in this training program. I'll just move this down so you can see the cards. 5D, black cockatoo, very strong totem. This is about when you make shifts and adjustments based on your 3D needs for power and hibernation. So you need to rest if you want more power, basically. The goat says we're in transition all the time. We have like 3, 4, 5, or 6 month cycles. For women, we're a little bit more attuned to that. We're used to a 28-day cycle. No matter how much we force that away, that is how we're naturally programmed. So for the women out there, please honor your cycle. Please go through the cycle. Know that you have a power phase, a creative phase, a dormant phase, an introspective phase, an emerging phase, and really look into the spiritual sides of menstruation. If you go with it, you'll notice that the power phases are more powerful. The menstruation's a very deep, introvert, wintry time where you will understand the depths of who you are. And then we have like a spring autumn idea. Guys are in a bit more of a 24-hour cycle, but you're not robots either. So making sure that you have switch off times. You've got sympathetic nervous system times, which is go, 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 using your yang. And then you need rest and digest, parasympathetic. How are you signaling to your body that you're not hunting right now, that you're not out there right now? You need as much of that time as you do of the go, go, go. So are you facilitating that? Are you really good at relaxation? Are you really good at winding down and signaling to your body that right now there's nothing more important than just being and hanging out and seeing the beauty in my life, right? Black cockatoo means everything that you're looking for and all the permission you're seeking outside of you is a waste of time. You have the green light to use your intuition for a higher purpose. You may now go towards what it means to serve your highest needs and the highest needs of others, right? So maybe it's stepping out of other people's drama, out of their self-sabotage, out of the way that they torment themselves and berate themselves and be mean to themselves. Serving their highest needs means I will dance and delight and help you when you embark on change, but I will not enable you where you are because I see it as self-sabotage and you're not being kind to yourself and you're not taking action. Do the same for yourself. Black Cockatoo says, you have everything you need. Spirit gives you permission to now use your intuition for something bigger, something more fulfilling, and something that brings you into your power, right? So usually peacock shows up when people stepping up to serve. And what does that mean? It means you're not going to be pulling cards for yourself. Maybe you start pulling them for friends and family. It means what you used to do on yourself, healing or knowledge upgrades. Maybe you can help someone else with it. Use consent, go towards it with as much integrity as possible. But most students transition from having a bunch of guides, delighting in that, solving all your problems first. That's really important. And then we start to use the guides to serve humanity. And it's a completely different skill set. So Peacock's asking you to upgrade that. All right, Scorpio, I love you so much. Come and hang out in Patreon. Come and do one of our courses. I'd love to see you there. Comment below, subscribe, help each other out, be kind. I love all of it. Thank you so much. Bye. Love you.